My daily mow, and I am outside. I was a little late because my hair is not quite cooperating, so I'm doing the imperfect thing. This is daily mow number 3. This is Coach Mo. You can find me everywhere on the internet, social media, mofaul.com. I am your kick-ass career coach. I help you bring your soul to work, and today we're talking about and when we do let fear come into our decision making, it can have so many disguises, and it can trick us into believing things that aren't true. Just yesterday, I had a very perfect example of this. I will keep the innocent, the names of the innocent, the names of the guilty. I got criticized for my work, for being a sham, for being, I don't know, something along those lines. I can't even put it in my head. Certainly not even in my heart. Hello, everyone. Good morning. So I'm wondering, wasn't this woman cloaked in her own fear? The only way you can criticize someone with an open heart who helps people and who has something going on that really help advance women and advance the planet and humanity, the only way you throw a criticism out is because you have your own fear, and you're disguised in your own fear by throwing fear at others. So fear has so many disguises, and the best one it uses, the best disguise that fear uses is practical. I'm just being practical about this. I'm just being practical. I don't know about you, but there is nothing practical about living a human life. There is nothing practical about living a full human life. Is it practical to get a new car? Is it practical to drive when you could get hurt out there? Is it practical to do anything in this world? Of course not. But we cloak things with practicality, cloaking our fear. I'm going to quote a beautiful quote from Jim Rohn. If you don't know Jim Rohn, R-O-H-N, and his work, he was one of the most prolific cliche artists of the planet. If you're not willing to risk the usual, you will have to settle for the ordinary. If you're not willing to risk the usual, you will have to settle for the ordinary. I'm going to tell you something. There is no human life worth living that does not involve risk. Zero. If you've dated, you've gone on a risk. If you've gotten married, you've taken risks. If you've had children, you've taken risks. These are not practical things. What is practical anyway? I don't even know, to be honest with you. The real life is one where we step into our greatness daily. And when we step into our greatness daily, we are looking at our human fears in the face, and we're saying, you aren't going to control me today. I am controlled by my greatness. I am controlled by my divine. I am controlled by my inner being wanting to speak and show up and do good work in this world. And I am looking fear in the face every day and saying, you aren't controlling me. You aren't doing it. I am looking at fear in the face when I am thinking I have to be perfect to be enough, when I'm thinking I have to be perfect to do a good job, when I'm thinking I have to have all the answers. I say no to that, and I say I am stepping into my greatness. Look at this hair. I mean, is it practical to go on Facebook Live with hair all over the place? No. But I had a commitment, and I wanted to come out here and talk about this topic this morning because I know that what's in my heart is going to help you today. I know that my extra dose of meditation this morning, because it's chilly out here in South Florida, I know that extra dose of meditation brought me closer to the words I really wanted to say. I know that when I do my inner work, I don't have to worry about fear grabbing a hold of me. When I do my connection every single morning, I can guarantee that my steps are moving me in alignment with my higher being. I know that when I step into the higher version of me, I don't know fear. And fear is the disconnect between you and your creator. If you let fear in, you are absolutely cutting the source off. You are taking the lower vibrational road. And the many disguises that fear has will trick you. Practicality being one of them. Blame being another. Oh, when we blame someone else for our life or our circumstances, fear has gotten a grip of you. There is no such thing as someone else responsible for your life. So if you have that anywhere on your thought feeling pattern, and we're going to talk about that more as this month goes on, the Daily Mo, I wish I had 100 days this month for the Daily Mo. There's so many topics I want to cover and share with you and help inspire you to your highest path. Your ability to be in flow with your divineness, the inner God speaking to you and bringing your soul forward, that version of you does not know fear. She does not respond to being practical or perfect. She knows that stepping into the next thing with a little bit of, oh, I hope this works out, and a whole big dose of faith. That's how you have to step into it. Fear and faith do not go hand in hand. So if you profess to be someone who is faithful, you cannot know fear. You cannot be a bedmate, a roommate, a friend of fear. If you truly profess to have faith, if you truly are walking the path of your highest self, if you know your soul and you allow your creator, your source, to speak through you, you cannot invite in fear. Incompatible. So know your source, your divinity, and you will not need to know fear. Are you always going to be comfortable? No. Are you always going to have the answers? Heck no. Are you always going to be able to step into a greater version of you? Absolutely. And I'm speaking to you with those lingering feelings of fear. When you get real with the many disguises of fear, you can then begin to release it. You can then begin to release the fear that is holding you bondage. Step into your greatness. A few years ago, one of the women who later became one of my clients, and she's actually a wonderful, wonderful example of how we can step into our highest good and release fear. She was holding on to fear so bad, she actually criticized me about one of the sayings that I live for and that I push out there. Everything always works out for me. Now, there's a lot of people who feel selfish when they say everything always works out for me. But if everything always works out for me and for you, it works out that way for each and every one of us. It's not a self-proclaimed, I get it and you don't. So if that's the duality in which you're living your life, if everything works out for me, that means it doesn't work out for you? No, that's duality. That is not godliness. That is Newtonian cause and effect. Yes, no. Do not live there. Your ability to understand that everything is always unfolding for your perfect highest good is the beginning of the path of letting go of fear. So Kim, my delightful client, I gave her a challenge and I said, could you live one day taking into heart that everything always works out for you? And she said, well, I'll at least give you one day. I said, don't give me one day, give yourself that day. So she did. Guess what? It was a wonderful day. She's been living in misery for the years prior. I said, how about day 2? She said, I think I could go for day 2. Everything always works out for me, day 2. And she continued to have one day after the other of releasing herself from the grip of fear. That she was protecting herself and holding herself in a shell of not stepping into her greatness. That was 2 years ago. And over those 2 years, she has had the most awesome life. She has been able to celebrate her life, her wedding anniversary with her beautiful husband, 4 kids. She had the best holiday season that 2 years ago that she had ever had up until then. Her life has been magnificent as she's flown around the world with her own professional expertise, making more money than ever, having more joy, having a greater relationships with her family and friends, and really shining. We needed her on this planet to be that version of herself, but yet fear had gripped her for so many years. Fortunately, she was coachable. Fortunately, she allowed in a beacon of light. Fortunately for her, fear left, and she is now living her life of her dreams in her divineness, in her alignment. Say no to fear today. And as you say no to fear, you have to say yes to your soul. Because it's your soul and that light inside of you that will guarantee you the protection that you think fear is holding you from. Because it's wrapped in all of that primitive protection stuff, the defense mechanisms, the blaming others, the practicality, the need to be perfect, hiding because you don't want to be criticized, not speaking up in meetings, not smiling at strangers. You can let that go. You can let it go and be the highest, most beautiful, perfect version of you. I will tell you something. I am living a very imperfect human existence. I make mistakes and I hold on to things and I judge and I'm like, can't believe that again. But I am living the most perfect, soulful existence for myself. My soul is continuing to unfold in its greatest, highest good. Do yourself a favor today and commit to allowing the release of the fears that have held you back. Commit to seeing your greatness and do something different today that you ordinarily may not do because of fear, and let the grip of fear be released. Spend one day being conscious of this, and you will have a better day. You will have a more awakened day. You will see your connection to all of us human beings. And that is the one single truth on this planet, that we are all connected. And when you cloak yourself in fear, you have shut yourself off from the goodness of all of us lovely beings. Please don't do that any longer. It's not serving you, and it's not serving us. We want your greatness to show up and shine. We need you. We need your soul to be big and beautiful. We need you to step into that so that you can serve the planet and be the soul that you were meant to be. When you were born, there was a light inside of you. And perhaps over the decades of your life so far, it has been dimmed by others. They didn't mean anything. They didn't mean to hurt you. And perhaps you might think that they did. But their soul was struggling and suffering. So when struggling, suffering souls meet up with us, they often throw us a dish of what they're feeling. Take that as your opportunity to grow and expand and learn and grow compassion. Stay connected to yourself first, and then find your avenues for connecting to others. Release the fear that is causing the disconnect and allow your greatness to come through today. So do not allow fear to be your prison any longer. It has many disguises. Get real with yourself today and allow the release of the fear so that you can be true love and be in your soul and your alignment and your beauty and your perfection, because that is where your perfection exists. Have a great day. This is the Daily Mo. I'm loving on you today. Release fear and be in your soulful greatness today. We need you. See you tomorrow.